Our second selection features the other Champions League semi-final tie, and that's Barcelona versus Inter Milan. Barcelona battered Borussia Dortmund in the first leg of their quarter-final tie, winning by 4-0, with goal contributions from the big players doing their bit. Rafinha opened the scoring after 25 minutes before a Lewandowski brace in the second half made it 3, and then the final nail in the coffin came from wonder kid Lamine Yamal, as his goal would kill off the tie in the very first leg. In the reverse fixture, Gurucci's hat-trick was not enough in the second leg, and a Bielsa own goal gave Barcelona their 5th of the tie to stop any chance of the comeback, the Blaugrana winning out 5-3 on aggregate. In terms of form, that loss in Dortmund did put an end to a 3-game winning streak and a 10-game unbeaten run in the Champions League for Barcelona. They host an Inter Milan side whose quarter-final tie against Bayern Munich was probably the most hotly contested tie of the round. In the first leg, it was Martinez that put Inter Milan 1-0 up, and the scores would remain 1-0 for the longest of time, before Thomas Muller levelled up the game in the 85th minute. However, before Bayern fans could get too carried away with themselves, it was Fratesi that regained the lead for Inter Milan to pick up a famous 2-1 win in Bavaria. In the second leg, Harry Kane managed to score for Bayern Munich to level the affair at 2-2. However, Martinez would score again, and an ex-Bayern Munich player, Benjamin Pavard, would score twice in quick succession to fire Inter Milan into a 4-2 lead. So when Eric Dyer scored the third for Bayern Munich, the comeback was simply not to be. Inter qualifying for the semi-finals 4-3 on aggregate. In terms of form, the 2-2 draw on the night did continue a 6-game unbeaten run for the Nerazzurri in the Champions League. When we take a look at the head-to-head records, the last time Barcelona and Inter faced off was the 2022-2023 edition of the Champions League in Group C. Inter picked up a 1-0 win at San Siro thanks to Hakan Çalhanoğlu, before a 3-3 draw in Barcelona on matchday 4. These results would prove vital as Inter Milan finished second place in the group, ahead of Barcelona, to relegate them into the Europa League. So, Inter Milan have a 2-game unbeaten streak over Barcelona, but these sides have faced off many times down the years in Europe's premier competition. In the last 10 games played since 2009, Barcelona have won 5 of these matches, Inter Milan have won 2 of these games, and the other 3 have ended in draws. My prediction for today's game is that this match is a classic unstoppable force versus the immovable object kind of matchup. Barcelona have scored a competition high 37 goals, averaging 3.08 goals scored per game, whereas Inter Milan have only allowed a competition low 5 goals across 2 matches, or 0.41 goals against per game. So we're either in for a very high scoring affair or a low scoring one, but I've got a good feeling about the overs here. Barcelona have seen over 2.5 goals in each of the last 3 Champions League matches, as well as each of the last 6 home games in this competition. Overall, Barcelona have seen over 2.5 goals scored in 11 of their 12 Champions League games, or 92% of matches. Whereas Inter Milan have seen over 2.5 goals in each of the last 3 matches and in 4 of the last 5 Champions League games of late. However, just 1 of the last 6 away fixtures have seen over 2.5 goals scored, but I'm thinking this is more to do with the quality of opposition they faced in earlier rounds. When we take a look at the head-to-head records, the most recent encounter back in 2022 saw over 2.5 goals, as well as 3 of the last 4 encounters straight up reaching this mark. As such, I do like over 2.5 goals here, but Inter's record is going to temper my stake. I'm going to back this selection for a half stake here in bet number 2.